This will define everything as we get a major update heading into Game 7 regarding one of the Winnipeg Jets superstars. As this is one of the biggest Game 7 in Winnipeg Jets history, we have major implications to break down going into this game. We're going to break down all this, the implications, quotes from players, and everything you need to know later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 89% not subscribed yet and you're enjoying this Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, or NHL content, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be giving you updates all season into the off season from around the league. But with that, Darius, we got up straight to the first topic today, where we do know the Winnipeg Jets are hosting the first Game 7 since 1977, going in versus the St. Louis Blues. Now, we did get a bad update for the Jets, as we do see that it's announced that Mark Scheifele will not play in Game 7. This was a cause from a hit, and as you can see, some of the hits from around this game are insane. Combined hits through 6 games, 493. Combined penalty minutes through 6 games, 326. Darius, what's your thoughts on Scheifele being out and just the physicality this series has brought?
Well, Mark, first of all, I have to say it's a sad day. This series is finally coming to an end in this game 7. And the support from everyone who's been subscribed to the channel and viewing our videos, Winnipeg Jets fans, St. Louis Blues fans, your support has been unbelievable. We're not going to stop with the content one way or another, depending what happens tonight. But there are serious implications on this side for the Winnipeg Jets. And obviously, Mark Scheifele not playing tonight, that has been confirmed. There's a lot of rumors out there, a lot of things. I saw it in the comments. I've been seeing it online that maybe it's a concussion. You can't rush a concussion, right? Obviously, I'm not going to say it was like a blindsided hit or anything like that. You can't admire the puck. But, I did say a couple of videos ago, and I do want to clarify that I thought that, Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets was being targeted by the St. Louis Blues. Not in terms of trying to target him to injure him, but I think they were just targeting him physically to get him off his game because he is such a great player. That's more of what I meant, that, they were really leaning the body into him. Not so much to injure him, but of course, injuries do happen. And I don't think it was that bad of a hit. Obviously, a lot of people say it was interference. Maybe it was interference, but at the end of the day, he is injured. He's not playing. That's a big factor for this Winnipeg Jets team because, again, we're going to touch on Connor Hellebuyck in a second, but this series has been physical. It's taken its toll already on both teams. It's only the first round. And whoever gets past this has a very good Dallas Stars team who's getting some healthy bodies back waiting for them. So, again, major implications for both teams in this game, but obviously Mark Scheifele's missing. You got to have a legacy game from Connor Hellebuyck in this one. This is the biggest game of, dare I say, his career at this point to get over that mental hump. And of course, if you look at the lineup, you still have a lot of really good players in this lineup. You have a lot of firepower. Kyle Connor's been unbelievable in this series, and Ehlers coming back too is very dynamic. And of course, Gabriel Vilardi just returned, halfway through the series as well. So he's been unbelievable career year for the Winnipeg Jets this year, obviously. So they need a lot of guys to step up tonight. And I do expect, and we'll get to predictions later, I do expect the Jets to win this game. I know Blues fans are going to be all over me for saying that, but if you look at the entire series, it's a home game for the Jets. They should win. But in the NHL, nothing goes by shoulds or coulds, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight, and anything can happen. But I think this is a huge game. Honestly, I know the Jets have gone further. I think this is the biggest game in Winnipeg Jets 2.0 history.
And the big thing with losing Scheifele on the Jets side, second leading scorer in the playoffs, just behind Kyle Connor. And looking at the lineup itself, the big thing is you're losing your top line center. You get Ehlers back. You think things are getting better. Then you see Mark Scheifele, the best center on this team, and that's no hate to a lot of guys. Adam Lowry needs to step up a tiny bit as well. But this team with Mark Scheifele looks so much better, and that's an obvious statement. But the big thing there is we're looking at a team that has dealt with injuries. We've seen a couple guys out. We see Mark Scheifele out. Hellebuyck has been very bad on the road, let's be honest here, and subpar at home. This game is going to be one for the ages. I know the St. Louis Blues won a Stanley Cup. A lot of people said this game is not the biggest game 7, but in this current season, this is the biggest game for the St. Louis Blues. Maybe they make it to the finals again, and that will be the biggest game 7, or round 2 or 3. But at this moment, this is by far the biggest game, and this is must-watch TV from both sides. But listen, Mark Scheifele being out, someone needs to step up in this lineup. Right now, was it 6 points? For Scheifele, you see a lot of guys below him, but you need more players to really take that jump, take this on their back as a game 7. This is an elimination game. This can go either way. I'm going to throw it to you again, Darius, with this lineup right now before we get into player quotes and some other key factors. Who do you think in this lineup has the best chances to maybe step up and make an impact heading into game 7?
Well, one person that nobody's really talking about is how good Mason Appleton's been in this series. So I'm looking for him to be really good and step up again. Cole Perfetti, right? This is a perfect moment for him to come out of nowhere, seemingly, and really put his stamp on this series and this season. So, like a guy like Cole Perfetti, if he were to step up in a moment like this, there's a bunch of guys. I mean, Nita Ryder, these are the moments that you got him for as well, right? He steps up in these moments he has in the past. So looking for, a couple guys. And of course, the offense from the back end, right? It's been a thing all season. Let's see it tonight, right? That's something that's got to get through. Kick it low to high. See if you can generate some offense from the back end. Because, of course, Josh Morrissey's there, right? Seventh in points, but not too many defensemen up there for the Winnipeg Jets. Not that they should be if you look across the league, but still, it would be nice and it would help. And a lot of the games that the Jets have won have been very close. And a lot of the games that the Blues have won, obviously, we've been talking about it ad nauseum, have been blowouts. So, come in, score the first goal, have a good start. And I think that would be success or a key to success for the Winnipeg Jets. So a couple of those guys stepping up, I think just doing their thing would be big. But I think like a guy like Cole Perfetti, I mean, this is just a moment that he could really put his own stamp on and really come up big.
And the big thing, I kind of want to go back on the defensive end. As you said, not a lot of these guys have been putting up a lot of points. And when you compare it to the St. Louis Blues, we've seen in Game 6, the St. Louis Blues had every defenseman except for Nikolaj putting up a point. We've seen goals from defensemen as well. Cam Fowler leads all defensemen in scoring in the playoffs with 10 points. They need more help on this back end, and I don't think it's in a defensive way, but more scoring output. Binnington has been outstanding in the Four Nations heading into the playoffs. The goalie battle is going to be must watch, but there is just getting into some quotes from these guys. Kyle Connor on playing the first ever home Game 7 in Winnipeg NHL's history. We see, got no question that we got to bring out the table tonight. They're going to be ready. It's going to be loud. We're going to be an awesome atmosphere. Now, this is a big thing, and like we started the video with, the first home game since 1977. You can pause and read through this as well. The jitters are going to be very high for this Jets team, and I think that kind of hurts them in a tiny bit. I mean, continue on. Kyle Connor says the Winnipeg Jets will band together. He says it's everyone's leaning on each other. It's everybody dragging each other into a fight. Our team has been great because it hasn't been on the line. Not one player, not one defenseman. This is an awesome quote to see from a leader, but looking at this, what is your prediction? Just going into tonight's game, and listen, the Jets don't have a full healthy team, but they're getting themselves ready for this big game. Who do you think comes out victorious in this game, Darius?
Well, I'm going to have to say that there's a lot of different factors, and I think that it could go either way, and I don't want that to be a cop-out answer. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I took St. Louis from the beginning. If you go back and watch those videos, I took St. Louis in 7 games. So I'm going to stick to that. But the reason why I think the Winnipeg Jets could win this game is A, it's on home ice. They've won every single home game in this series so far. Game 7 at home. It's never happened in the NHL for the Winnipeg Jets, the NHL version of the Winnipeg Jets, right? So the crowd is going to be absolutely electric to start, but in a situation like this with the Winnipeg Jets being the best team in the NHL, game 7s at home can be weird sometimes. If the Blues score the first goal, there might be some anxious energy, right? But I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I know the crowd is going to be so hot to start that game. It's going to be, an insane atmosphere for St. Louis to try and break through the first 10 minutes. So if the Jets can score in the first 10 minutes, that building is going to be rocking. I feel like they can ride that momentum. All of that being said, again, you have to take all of that into account. I think it's going to be crazy. I'm going to stick to my guns. I called it from the beginning. St. Louis in 7. We'll see what happens. But I do think that there's a lot of reasons to believe that the Jets should win this game.
And the big thing is, I think the first goal of the game might dictate the entire game. I mean, you don't want a home team trailing, getting jittery, trying to push what they don't want to do on the offensive end. So this game's going to be very interesting. Honestly, it's must-watch TV from NHL fan base watching, the St. Louis fans, Winnipeg Jets fans. Even if you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, you need to watch this game. It's must-watch TV. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? If you're a Jets fan, who do you think's going to open in the scoring? If you're a Blues fan, who do you think will open the scoring? Go down, leave a comment on your predictions for the game down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back with another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius, and this game's going to be crazy.